It's a 2013 what is it, Rancher. It's a Rancher 420. And I already know what's wrong with it. I've already figured that out, but I'm going to show you kind of what I went through. So it won't start. Turn the key on, hit the starter button. It's not doing anything. So the first thing you want to check, obviously, is your cutoff switch here. And you can hear, I don't know if I'll be able to get, excuse me, sorry. If I'll be able to get down so that the audio will pick it up, but you can flip this switch and you can hear a click. So go both sides of that switch, and if you can hear, I don't know if it's a fuel pump, something kicks on over here, and then you can hear a relay solenoid picking up back here. So you know that switch is good. All right, so you've got that isolated. You don't even have to do a lot to figure that out. The next step would be, or the first step really, is check your battery voltage. But all this is clicking, so it would make sense that you've got decent battery voltage. You could check your fuses. Your fuse box is here. You can check those. And I've already done that. Your fuses are right here. Your main fuses is 30 amp. I've already checked my fuses, and all my fuses are good. You can either pull them out and look at them. You can use a test light. And if you don't have a test light, these test lights come in incredibly handy. If you don't know what a test light is, it's just a light in series with this wire here. Like I'm going negative to positive, and the light comes on. It means I've got a good path, right? So the next thing you could do is test, for me, what I would test next, since I've isolated that this switch works, you can see if the actual starter switch is working. And that's on this connection here. I don't know. You can take this apart. Let's see if we can get that done. This one was kind of fiddly for me. It didn't want to come out last time. All right, cheat and use this. Come on, there we go. Which side of the battery? We want to go. So the yellow and red is your starter wire. All right, so you don't really want to be digging around in here because you got waterproof boots and you don't want to ruin that wire. You can go down there in the terminal, pushing the starter button. So I'm getting power through the system. The starter button is clearly working. So the next question would be, let's plug this up. I took this apart. These all mount into this back plastic. I took these out just to make them easy. It's easier to get this out. If you do that, in my opinion, then you can just pop them back in. The next question, is it the starter relay? And that's usually my first go-to. When the starter doesn't work, a lot of times it's the solenoid relay, whatever it is. So we can see, we know we've got battery voltage. We know our fuses are good. We know we're getting power through the starter switch. So we can come down here to our starter relay. I should figure out if it's a solenoid or a relay, but I'm just going to keep calling it the relay. And we know that we're getting 12 volts to the 12 volt side of the relay. What we need to do now is go to the other side and see if we can get power through there. So right now we're not, but we shouldn't be, right? Because we're not trying to start the ATV. But if I hit the starter button and this light doesn't come on, then there's a good chance that it's our relay. If the light comes on, then we've got other problems. I'm pushing the starter button and the relay is not coming on. So, excuse me, it's springtime in Alabama and I'm allergic. Allergic? I am allergic, I think. I'd have to Google that. But, so anyway, starter button, and we're not getting anything. So it's a decent assumption that our starter relay is bad. So that's what I'm going to replace. All right, so I kind of moved the camera here, a little bit different view. I'll put this test light up. So since we decided that we believe that it's the relay, the solenoid, the thingy, that helps start it. Basically, if you're not sure what you're looking at, there's a relay is kind of it's a magnetic switch. It senses power. When you hit this start button, that sends that 12 volts. It sends voltage to the relay. The relay has a magnet in it, electromagnet that closes and opens. It senses electricity, voltage, whatever it needs, whatever the nominal number is. It opens or closes. In this case, it closes. Allows the 12 volts of your battery to go through there, through the starter. Everything starts, and you're off to the races. What does this say? Solenoid. This is a starter solenoid. And that's basically what's going on here. I'm sure somebody can correct me on the exact bits and pieces, but I don't care. We're just fixing things. So it's real simple. You get in here. This piece here that you're looking at, I don't know if that's, I'm pretty sure I put that in when I put the winch in. I think that's a circuit breaker. Yeah, that's for the winch. That's I think that's probably not on all four-wheelers, obviously. So I've got to kind of work around that a little bit. And what I could probably do to make this a little easier is I think I'm going to disconnect some terminals off the battery real quick. So let's do that. All right, so I kind of took everything apart just to make it a little easier to get to my starter solenoid. I'm going to clean up this battery compartment, vacuum out a lot of this junk. I got the entire life's worth of four-wheeler since the last time I changed the battery, limbs and branches and who knows what in there. But this is your starter solenoid right here. And you've got a positive line. This is coming off directly off the battery, and you've got your negative. You want to take this off. The next question would be, do you buy a Honda OEM? So we're going to go, negative was on the right in terms of where all this power is going here. And this is that power line that we got that sends the voltage. We tested this one, remember? This sends the voltage that the relay solenoid is wanting to see to the solenoid, right? We push the starter button, current runs through here, up into here. This says, oh, we've got power to make this electromagnet electromagnetize. It closes in, power goes from here to here, and your four-wheeler starts. At least that's the theory. But do you get a OEM solenoid or do you get a Chinese solenoid? So here on Belly Up Fish Garage, we bought the Chinese solenoid. And so I'll show you right off the bat where that might have been a mistake. I don't know that it will be. But the cord, the power cord is definitely, the Chinese aren't going any extra mile there. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, so let's see. So this was positive, or this was the negative side. So I'm going to reuse the OEM hardware, I think. See if that'll thread there. If that does, that's what I'm going to do. And then we've got, what did you do here? See, you've already done it backwards. You're doing it backwards, man. All right, so positive side goes here. All right. Tighten this up. Oof. And then the negative, before we get too far, this all has to wrap back under here like this. Goes like that. There we go. Now we're talking. Put this back. Still doesn't feel, I'm not 100% convinced, but I think that's going to work. Kind of makes sense. Makes sense for the way that the cord is, the wire is already, it's got memory. What happened there? We're trying to tighten you up. All right, so that's tight. This is tight. We can plug this in here like this. And if I had the battery hooked up, I could test start it before I put everything back together. So let's do that real quick. But I'll just put the battery back in. So now, the only thing that I've seen, I've tightened these up. These are good. The power, 12-volt power to the solenoid, I was talking about how short the wire was. It doesn't allow the solenoid used to mount on this back wall right here. Solenoid doesn't mount it there anymore. It just kind of has, it's going to have to free float the connector, not the solenoid, but the connector. I mean, I guess I could connect it there, but it's going to be strained. So I'm just going to let it, there's a gap down in here. There's plenty of room for it to kind of free float. I guess I could see. Yeah, it's just in a tough spot. So I'm going to let it free float. I don't think it's going to hurt anything there to move around. I'm going to leave that like that. We've got everything hooked back up. I've got a lot of stuff. I've got a winch. Let's see if the winch works. Sounds like the winch still works. So I've got that all hooked back up. I've got the winch. I've got a battery tender. It's hooked up, positive to positive, negative to negative. So now the only thing left is to start this bad boy. I'm gonna move these so they don't vibrate off. I think everything's good. We got juice. Let's see if she starts. Voila. Starter solenoid was bad. And I mean, if you wanted to get into it, I guess you could probably test the impotence. This is an impotent solenoid. Impedance, that's the word you're looking for. You could see, I'm sure there's some number, but it didn't work. That one works. So it's fixed. All right then, thanks for watching.